Well, hey, welcome back. This is Doug to another episode of Selling Point. Today, we want to talk about the topic of how important it is to make a total commitment in your selling career. You know, everybody knows people that when they find out that you're in sales, they say, "Oh yeah, I used to be in sales." Well, why do you think they used to be in sales? Was it the fact that they couldn't stand all the income they could make? No, it's just because they never really made the total commitment to get over the hump to get there. So our title today is Burn the Ships. And as a backdrop to that, let's go back to ancient history. And everybody knows and heard of Alexander the Greek. Well, Alexander, of course, was in a conquering mode all his life and wanted to build a huge empire, and eventually did. His empire went all the way from Greece to India. And so what happened is one of the big battles along the way was he knew he would have to go against his biggest enemy, which was the Persian Empire, which is modern day Iran. So what goes around comes around, right? So in 334 BC, he puts together a group of 80,000 men and 120 ships, and they head to Persia. And they only have a 30-day supply of rations, and so they unload everything, knowing that the crew was, kind of puzzled because they knew it was going to take years to conquer the Persians, and here they go show up with 30 days worth of food and drink. And so they unload the ships, and the first command that Alexander gives them is burn the ships. And so they did, and he made the statement to his crew. He said, either we're going to go back home, sail back home in Persian ships, or we're going to die right here. And so that was the total commitment that was made by Alexander when he went on that conquest. 2 years later, he and his men actually accomplished their goal, even though their 80,000 men were outnumbered 5-1 by the Persians. And so that's why he got the title of Alexander the Great. He wasn't just Alexander the Good or the Alexander the Get By, but he was Alexander the Great. Now, salespeople end up with the same dilemma that Alexander was in, because many times we don't ever reach the point of really digging deep down and making the total commitment that's necessary to burn our ships and to really get focused on what we're about until we succeed. And so my early days of selling, I had a mentor that meant the world to me and was a tremendous amount of help. And he sat down one day and told me that when you're trying to accomplish something big, that you're going to go through 3 basic stages. The first one, he said, was called the lying stage. And that stage, you go around lying to everybody, telling them about your new sales career and how you're going to really make, twice as much money as you ever made on a regular job, and, all this kind of stuff. But you're lying to them, and you're lying to yourself, because deep down you're saying, I don't know if I'm good enough to do this. I don't know if I can make it. And so you continue lying to everybody that you come in contact with, maybe even your own family. And then, you right before you go to bed at night and you're brushing your teeth and you look up in that mirror the last time and you're just sick of yourself because of the situation that you're in. And so you go through that stage and you go back out again the next day and you say, I'm going to make it, and you just continue into that cycle until you go to the second stage. And that second stage is the quitting stage. And he told me, he said, now, Doug, in the quitting stage, he said, you're busting it. You think you're doing all that you can do. You think you're making a total commitment, but he said, you're really not. And he says, what happens is you'll begin to look for something, he says, if you have something to fall back on, you're guaranteed to fall back. And so he says you'll look for a part-time job to supplement you until you can do better. You'll think about going out and looking for a good job. And then you find out that there's not really any good jobs out there that's got the potential of the kind of money that you can make in sales or sales management as you move forward in your career. And so he says, so then you double down again and you dig down a little bit deeper and you kind of take it to the next level until you finally make that total commitment that you realize that you're burning your ships, that you're not going to have a crutch, you're not going to have a fallback position. It's either going to be this or nothing. And then he says you go to the third stage, which is the do it stage. And he says that's where you really have arrived. You've really made the total commitment and you move forward and have the success that you had anticipated. And so I can tell you for a fact that I went through those three stages myself. They're as real as death and taxes. And so what happened to me was that I totally changed careers. I was still in sales, but I went from the food sales business and food brokerage to financial services. Was a major shift, and there was some strategic reasons I did that, and I won't get into all of that, but I felt like that was going to be a much better opportunity for me. But here was the thing. It was a situation where I was self-employed, therefore I didn't have any salary, I didn't have any benefits, I had nothing to fall back on, I had no leads because there was no advertising for me, and so it was just me against the world. And I went through these exact three stages that my mentor told me that I would go through before I finally broke through. And it took me about 2.5 years before I reached the point where I actually was making double the amount of money that I was making on that prior job in food service sales. And so the key here is making that total commitment and slugging it out and going through these stages and realizing that success is not going to be easy, but I guarantee you it's going to be worth it. So why shouldn't that be you in the winner's circle? Why shouldn't that be you at the President's Club? Why shouldn't that be you living in the neighborhood that you want to live in, having the kind of income to be able to travel or do what other things that you anticipate doing in your life? And so the key to that is making that total commitment, and you won't be able to do that until you burn the ships. Now, as a help for that, don't forget about my book, Sell is Not a Four-Letter Word, that you can go to RobinsonTrainingSolutions.com and get a copy of for $12. And that will be a good help to you along the way, because I cover 116 strategies in that book that deal with things and ideas and common sense principles that you need in order to really be in the people business, which is the sales business, and really achieve your goals. Give it a try. And if you don't get $12 worth out of it, contact me and I'll give you your money back. That's how strong I feel about the contents of this material. So until next time, go burn your ships.